Tonight, the coroner has identified a man who died after falling over a cliff while mowing at a home near Lake Cumberland.
He had the support of an entire community, but a serious illness has taken the life of a Franklin County teenager.
What's next in the legal battle over marriage licenses in Rowan County? The county clerk faces a contempt of court hearing tomorrow, and tonight her attorneys responded.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Investigators call it a horrible accident. They say a man died in a fall when his riding lawnmower went over a Pulaski County cliff.
It happened this afternoon outside a home on Waitsboro Drive, not far from Lake Cumberland. Tonight, we're learning more about the victim and what investigators think led up to the accident. Garrett Weimer has our top story at 11.
That neighborhood backs up here to the Waitsboro recreation area at Lake Cumberland. Steep hills and cliffs border the lake here, and we're told it's not far from this spot where Nykirk went over the embankment and died. Waitsboro Drive is a quiet street in a nice neighborhood. The view of Lake Cumberland from the homes here could be captured on a postcard, but the very feature that provides that view proved to be deadly. Pulaski County Coroner Clyde Strunk says Jake Nykirk worked for a local lawn service. He was mowing near the edge of the bluff in the backyard of this home when he went over the cliff and died.
I come down here all the time, and my daughter lives across the lake over here, and it's a really dangerous place.
Folks who know just how steep and dangerous some of the yards out here can be say the accident shook them.
It's very treacherous. It's almost straight up and down, and you have a beautiful view, but you know, you got to be careful.
The emergency management director here says Nykirk fell at least 150 feet down that embankment. In Pulaski County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And the coroner says Nykirk's body has been sent to Frankfort for an autopsy. Tonight, we have some sad news, an update on a Central Kentucky teenager battling a serious illness. Family members are telling us that 16-year-old Bradley Kamick died late this afternoon at Kentucky Children's Hospital. Doctors diagnosed the Frankfort High School student and soccer player with encephalitis after he collapsed on the soccer field last month. Students, teachers, and others in the community raised tens of thousands of dollars to help Bradley's family pay for medical costs.
The legal battle over marriage licenses in Rowan County moves back to federal court tomorrow. A federal judge has summoned Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis and her deputy clerks to the courthouse in Ashland. The judge will hear a motion calling for Davis to be held in contempt of court. Today, she turned away a same-sex couple from Ohio who came to Rowan County for a marriage license.
We're not doing marriage license today.
Why?
Because I'm not doing marriage license today. We're pending an appeal.
Under what authority?
Going to court tomorrow.
Under what authority? God's authority. I knew you would say that.
We also heard more from Davis's attorneys today ahead of tomorrow's hearing. Monique Blair joined us now from the live desk with the very latest. Monique?
Well, Amber, Kim Davis is refusing to give in to the battle over who can and cannot get married. Yesterday and today, she continued to defy federal judge David Bunning's order for her to issue marriage licenses. And late this afternoon, Davis's attorneys filed a response to a motion filed yesterday asking that Davis be held in contempt of court.
Davis's response says in part she should not be held in contempt because, quote, she is presently unable to comply with the court's order. Going on to say, quote, it irreparably and irreversibly violates her conscience by directing her to authorize and issue same-sex marriage licenses bearing her name and approval, end quote. The response later states there are less restrictive alternatives that provide the plaintiffs with marriage licenses but do not substantially burden Davis's sincerely held religious beliefs, such as distributing marriage licenses through an online statewide licensing scheme or deeming Davis, quote, absent for purposes of issuing same-sex licenses. On Wednesday afternoon, U.S. Attorney Carrie Harvey issued a statement concerning Davis, saying in part, quote, we have grave concerns about the reported failure to comply with the court's order. Government officials are free to disagree with the law, but not disobey it. It is time for the clerk and the county to follow the law, end quote.
Now, also this afternoon, Kentucky Republican Senate President Robert Stivers said in a court filing that Judge Bunning needs to give the state legislature time to pass a law that would exempt Davis from issuing marriage licenses. Stivers noted that state legislature isn't in session and won't be until January. Governor Beshear has also said he will not call a special session for it. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. The judge could fine Davis or send her to jail. The hearing begins at 11 tomorrow morning. Stay with WKYT throughout the day for complete coverage. Kentucky Senator and Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul has shown support for Kim Davis. He said Davis standing for her beliefs is, quote, an important part of the American way. Senator Paul is scheduled to be on CBS This Morning tomorrow to talk about his campaign and news of the day. The show airs on WKYT beginning at 7 a.m.
A Pulaski County father has been charged with DUI again, 2 years after admitting he was drunk during a crash that badly injured his 12-year-old daughter. Somerset police arrested 58-year-old Jimmy Jasper Saturday night. They say they received a call that he had harassed employees at a Dairy Queen drive-thru and smelled like alcohol. Police say they later found him nearby. They say his blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. Back in 2013, Jasper admitted he was drunk when his car hit a fence, injuring his daughter. Jasper was later sentenced to prison, but the judge probated it at his daughter's request. He's in the Pulaski County Jail tonight.
Parts of the Bluegrass saw some rain tonight after a warm and humid afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at a steamy forecast. We could use some rain, Chris.
Yeah, you know what? We actually can use a little rain out there. We've had a dry month of August now. Obviously, September starting out on a steamy note with a lot of sunshine and dry weather. Some areas did get in on some showers and storms, as Amber mentioned a little earlier, especially parts of northern, northeastern sections of the area. Then it's kind of the hit and miss stuff back around the Louisville area. Late this evening, Live First Alert Defender has nothing showing up across central and eastern Kentucky, though still a couple of thunderstorms are going off to our north and northwest, and that's where we're going to have to watch over the next couple of days for any storm development to our north and northwest to come wandering its way southward into the Bluegrass State. Up and at 'em tomorrow morning on your Thursday. Low and mid 60s in the valleys, mid and upper 60s everywhere else. Tomorrow afternoon, it's steamy, feels like July. Upper 80s to around 90. Isolated shower thunderstorm is a good likelihood. Holiday weekend, it is just around the corner, and a brand new hour-by-hour forecast will take us into that holiday weekend. And guys, it has a little increase in thunderstorms compared to what we were showing earlier today. We'll break that down for you in just a few.
Tonight, friends are remembering a Jackson County man who died in a shooting.
Police say that 61-year-old Jackie Rose got into an argument with another man yesterday afternoon on Chestnut Flat Road. They say that that man then shot Rose. Friends say Rose was a hardworking and honest man.
You know, even though you may not be kin to somebody, they're your neighbor right next door, and we treat a lot of people like family here.
Police say they've questioned the shooter, but so far no charges have been filed. They're still investigating what led to the shooting. Police plan to present their findings to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office.
New tonight, police now think an attempted burglary at a Richmond veterinary clinic is connected to burglaries at 2 other clinics. Richmond police say 2 people tried to break into Skipworth Animal Clinic on Merchant Drive early yesterday morning, but police say something scared off the burglars before they could break open the door. Police think the same 2 people stole pet medicine from vet clinics in Lexington and Nicholasville yesterday morning. Police want other clinics to be on alert.
We've upped our patrols, and we're watching all the veterinary clinics, making sure that they're not getting broken into.
Richmond police think these same 2 people may have also broken into the Skipworth Clinic back in June and also stole medicine.
We want to thank those of you who stopped by the WKYT studios today for the Big Blue Blood Drive. We teamed up with the Kentucky Blood Center for the blood drive. Around 50 people rolled up their sleeves to give blood this afternoon, and that will help save lives.
The blood that they donate here is going to stay in Kentucky, and it's going to help Kentucky patients in their own community, so it's real important for people to do it.
And if you couldn't stop by WKYT to donate blood today, you can still give at Kentucky Blood Center locations at Beaumont and Andover in Lexington and in Somerset and Pikeville.
A string of bad luck for an eastern Kentucky family. They say for the fourth time a fire has destroyed their home.
This latest fire started yesterday in the Finch family's home in the Howards Branch community of Magoffin County. No one was injured, but the family says they lost everything they own. They say it's been one setback after another.
We had one this way, had a double wide right there burned, then a single wide right there. Then we had one burn, ran this way when we first bought the place.
Do you know what caused the other fires?
Old house, old wine.
As for yesterday's fire, firefighters still investigating what caused it. The Finch family is staying with other relatives for now.
A Laurel County man arrested in Lexington after police say he caused a deadly crash in Tennessee is back in the volunteer state tonight. Deputies there say they drove to Kentucky to take Benjamin Brewer to Chattanooga. He's charged with 6 counts of vehicular homicide. In June, police say his tractor trailer crashed into multiple cars on Interstate 75 in Chattanooga, killing 6 people. After a grand jury indicted him, U.S. Marshals and police tracked him down in Lexington last month.
New tonight, a former Catholic priest in Louisville facing federal child pornography charges will be released from jail. Today, a judge agreed to release Stephen Pohl on a $25,000 unsecured bond. Louisville Archdiocese leaders say the FBI found child pornography on Pohl's computer. He resigned after the charges were filed. While out of jail, Pohl will live with his mother. He also will not be allowed to have computers there.
A new UK football season brings a new look for Commonwealth Stadium, and fans heading to Saturday's season opener will also notice new traffic patterns on nearby Alumni Drive with 2 new roundabouts. Police are telling fans to arrive early and to plan for traffic. If you are looking to park off campus, leaders of First Christian Church near the stadium say they have 160 parking spaces for fans. It's $20 per car to park. The money will go to help the church's youth program, and the church is even offering prepaid parking for UK fans on its website. All you have to do is go to WKYT.com for more information.
Lexington, known as the horse capital of the world, but this weekend it will also be the foosball capital. The 2015 World Championships of Professional Foosball kicked off tonight at the Clarion Hotel on Newtown Pike. Players from as far away as the United Kingdom, Germany, and Ireland are in town.
We're expecting over 500 players. We'll have participants from age 3 to 65 years old. So we have a very diverse age group.
Lexington native Ryan Moore is also competing. He's the #1 ranked foosball player in the world. The championships continue through Monday. It's free for the public to attend. I tried to play in college. I could never quite get the hang of it.
They make it look so easy.
I know. I just was not very good
but
at
it.
it.
But who knew? The World Championships.
Right here in Lexington.
So.